Tanya McCray recently sat down with Assemblyman Patrick O'Donnell, chair of the Assembly Education Committee, to talk about the state's vaccination mandate for educators, as well as resources to help students amid the pandemic. Take a listen.
Assemblyman, a new public health order requires all school staff at public and private schools to either show proof of vaccination by October 15th or be tested at least once a week. What are your thoughts on this mandate?
I'm very supportive of that new policy. Listen, if we follow the science, we know that vaccinations work. And if folks aren't going to get vaccinated, they need to be tested to keep school sites safe.
And the state recently released new data showing early results from the state's historic $123.9 billion TK through 12 budget. They include the expansion of mental health and wellness services, after-school programs, and learning acceleration programs. What resources do you believe are most necessary this next school year as students return to their classrooms?
Well, it starts with money, and I guess the next step is effort. The state, the legislature, the governor have put a lot of money into schools, a lot of money to get schools reopened, a lot of money to address student needs. Listen, I'm a parent myself. I'm a teacher. My background is that 20 years plus as a classroom teacher. And it's very important that we reboot and that we meet students where they are on a variety of fronts. Certainly there's academics. We have students that are now GPA deficient, meaning their grade point averages have fallen. We have students who are credit deficient in the high school arena, wherein they don't now have enough credits to graduate, wherein they would have had this pandemic not hit. So we have a variety of efforts to address that. Also money for social emotional health, and that is to hire counselors, bring them on campus to, and maybe even through Zoom at times, to address the needs of students on the social emotional front. So there's a lot we need to do. It's academic, it's social emotional, and there's probably some things we're going to learn along the road going forward that we need to address too. So we're certainly willing to do that. We've backed it up with resources. The school districts across the state of California are seeing more money, and a lot more money than they ever have, because we are taking this issue in the state legislature along with the governor very seriously. We need to address this issue. Learning loss is real. Social emotional impact is real.
One bill that the governor signed earlier this summer is AB 104, which allows families of students who fell behind in the 2020-2021 school year to choose a learning recovery option before the upcoming school year. What are those options, and can you explain why this bill, authored by your colleague Lorena Gonzalez, is so critical right now?
Okay, well, what we did earlier in the year, back in March, was we put forward money to address learning loss. Later in the year, we passed AB 104. So we put forward $4.6 billion spread out across the state of California for schools to address learning loss. So what might addressing learning loss look like? It could mean summer school. I would argue summer school on steroids, right? Not the summer school I'm used to, but a real comprehensive summer school program. It could mean, as we head into next year, after school programs. It could mean Saturday school. It could mean night school for maybe some of our high school students. So there's a lot of opportunity there to address learning loss through that $4.6 billion that we put forward last year. Now, AB 104 is kind of a different animal, but under the same umbrella, addressing with pandemic impacts upon our students. And what AB 104 does is a variety of things, but one of them is it allows students to change a grade. Let's say they didn't get a grade they really wanted, but they passed. They could change their grade to a pass, or you can go credit, no credit is what you can change your grade to. So that, let's say that letter grade might drag down your GPA. This gives you an opportunity to go credit. Again, if you pass that class, again, not to harm students' GPAs that are headed into their college application periods. So there's a variety of things we've done to enhance and kind of regroup and reboot and address the learning loss of students across the state of California, again, with a lot of money. And we didn't want to be too prescriptive in this effort. So what we did was we're handing schools lots of money, and they need to come up with a plan which they have submitted to the state. And really what a school district could do is they could offer a menu of options, summer school all the way through night school and anything in between. And some will be very unique in their approach. And I think I'm looking forward as we head into next year to see what school districts are going to do to address learning loss, because again, it's real and it's something we need to do and do fast.
I know that I heard that many school districts, really across the country, had unprecedented numbers in summer school this past summer. So that is possible that that's going to happen again, and that people are going to supplement that probably throughout the next year or two, right?
Absolutely. In fact, my own daughter went to summer school. I don't think she's ever gone to summer school before, but she was quite motivated to actually, it wasn't even catching up as much as it was for her. It was moving ahead. She took a couple classes that she might not have previously had the opportunity to have to kind of get ahead of the ball game. And so again, let's look at this as an opportunity, and it's not just all about learning loss, but it's also allowing students to flourish and really move forward in a more rapid fashion than maybe they even have in the past.
There are so many new things that we're dealing with across the board, and in schools, certainly that is the case on every level. We've also heard that some school districts in other states have already reverted back to virtual learning due to outbreaks. Is the state of California considering this option as well?
We need to plan for that, but we don't need to start with that. I think we're watching this pandemic like everybody else. We're watching the science. We're talking to the experts in these fields to see where we go next. But I think right now where we sit is school should reopen. Students should be back into school. They learn best in the classroom. That's the appropriate place for them to be. Thus far, it's been a safe place. But as the year moves forward and things might change, we need to be prepared to be flexible. But I think last year we've learned a lot, and it's going to allow us to move through this year in a much more rapid and smooth fashion. If we have to bounce off into distance learning, maybe for some short periods of times, then so be it. It may be even a situation with certain classes, right? If they've been exposed, not the whole school, maybe just a classroom has been exposed to the virus that they maybe need to spend a week online. And again, that's going to have to be dealt with really at the local level, through local health authorities and the decision made there through their own experiences and the data they see on their own school sites and their experience with the virus.
I have talked to a lot of parents in the last few weeks, and it seems to me that the parents who have children that are in junior high and high school seem a little more comfortable sending their kids back to school in person than the parents of elementary school kids, basically kids that are under 12 and are not vaccinated. What do you say to those parents who are kind of closing their eyes and just hoping for the best as they send their kids to school unvaccinated?
Well, the fact of the matter is some of this we're learning as we go forward. But I understand. Listen, as I stated, I have a child. She's been vaccinated. But if your child is 12 and above, they should be vaccinated. That's the best thing for them. It's the best thing for the other students in the classroom and the teacher too, because let's remember, we have teachers in those classrooms too, other school staff as well. But again, this is something we're going to have to monitor as we go forward and head into the year and see where this virus takes us. And the best thing we can do right now is follow the protocols, follow the guidance, and follow the policies that are being implemented at the district level.
During these times, everyone needs to be flexible, and it's all about adaptation these days. So going back to school is no exception to that. Assemblyman Patrick O'Donnell, thank you for joining me on In Focus SoCal today.
Great. Thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts, and let's get these schools reopened in a safe manner.